To make the universe work for you, you first need to understand one key concept. The universe responds to your inner state. It is constantly mirroring back your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. What you send out is what comes back. This is the essence of manifestation. The universe speaks in the language of vibration. Every thought, every emotion, every intention you hold carries a frequency. And like a cosmic magnet, your frequency attracts experiences, people, and opportunities that match it. This is why understanding your inner world is crucial to making the universe work in your favor. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool. What many people don't realize is that your imagination is the gateway to shaping reality. Everything you experience first starts as a thought. The mind creates the blueprint for your future. When you imagine something clearly and vividly, your mind and body begin to act as if it's already real. This is because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a real event and an imagined one. This is why visualization is so effective in manifesting your desires. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. One of the most profound ways to shape your reality is through a simple but powerful principle. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Rather than waiting for something external to validate your desires, assume that it's already done. Act, think, and feel as if the outcome you desire is already yours. When you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you shift your energy and vibration to match that outcome. And as you know, the universe responds to your energy. By assuming the feeling, you place yourself in alignment with the reality where that desire has already manifested. Beneath your conscious awareness lies the subconscious mind, the silent partner in shaping your destiny. It's the seat of your beliefs, habits, and emotions. It is always active, always listening to your dominant thoughts, and always working to manifest them into your reality. But here's the key. The subconscious mind responds to repetition, feeling, and belief. This is why it's essential to fill your mind with positive thoughts and affirmations that align with the life you wish to create. The universe responds not just to thoughts, but to emotions. Emotions are powerful because they amplify the energy behind your intentions. When you feel joy, gratitude, and love, you are in perfect alignment with the flow of the universe. These emotions signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. On the other hand, feelings of fear, doubt, and lack create resistance. This resistance blocks the flow of abundance and opportunities that are waiting to come into your life. The solution is simple but profound. Cultivate positive emotions daily. You can daily exercise your gratitude. Take 5 minutes to feel gratitude for everything you currently have in your life. Once you've planted the seeds of your desires through visualization, intention, and emotional alignment, there is one more crucial step. Letting go. Trust the process. Trust that the universe is working behind the scenes to bring your desires to you at the perfect time. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means releasing attachment to how and when they will manifest. The more you trust, the faster you allow the universe to move in your favor. Remember, the universe works in ways that often surpass our understanding. Surrendering opens the door for miracles. While visualization and belief are key to manifesting, it's important to pair them with action. But not just any action. Inspired action. This is action that feels right, feels aligned, and comes from a place of trust and flow. The universe will guide you through intuition, subtle nudges, and synchronicities. When you take action from a place of confidence and belief in your desires, you accelerate their manifestation. Trust your inner guidance and move forward without fear. The universe rewards those who act with faith. It is a vast, intelligent force that is always responding to you. You are the creator of your reality. By aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desires, you make the universe work for you. So as you move forward, remember, the universe is on your side. It is waiting to bring your dreams to life. All you have to do is believe. Align and take inspired action. Your destiny is in your hands. The universe is constantly responding to you in ways you might not always perceive at first glance. It operates on a principle of vibration and resonance. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs emit frequencies that the universe mirrors back to you through circumstances and experiences. When you consciously align your energy with what you desire, the universe begins to orchestrate events, opportunities, and synchronicities that bring your desires closer to manifestation. Just like a radio tuning into a specific station, when you fine-tune your inner world, you tune into the reality you want to experience. Your thoughts are a powerful form of communication with the universe. Every idea, no matter how fleeting, carries an energy that the universe picks up on. If your thoughts are consistently focused on abundance, happiness, or success, the universe responds by bringing people and situations into your life that reflect those states. However, the same is true for thoughts of doubt, lack, or fear. The key to making the universe answer favorably is to cultivate an inner environment filled with positive, empowering thoughts. In doing so, you send out a clear signal of what you want to attract. Beyond thoughts, your emotions play an equally significant role in how the universe responds. Emotions amplify the energy of your thoughts, acting like a magnet that pulls similar experiences toward you. If you feel gratitude, joy, or love, you are in harmony with the natural flow of the universe, which allows your desires to manifest with greater ease. Conversely, feelings of worry, frustration, or disappointment create resistance, making it harder for the universe to deliver what you want. Therefore, it's important to not only think about what you want, but to feel as if you already have it, signaling your readiness to receive. Belief is another essential component in this cosmic dialogue. What you believe to be true about yourself and the world forms the foundation of what the universe will deliver to you. If you believe that you are worthy of success, abundance, and happiness, the universe will reflect that belief back to you in the form of corresponding experiences. However, if deep down you hold limiting beliefs about scarcity or unworthiness, the universe will mirror those too. By cultivating empowering beliefs and releasing limiting ones, you open the door for the universe to answer your deepest desires. One of the most profound ways the universe answers is through synchronicities. Those meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with your desires, the universe arranges a series of events that guide you toward your goal. You might meet the right person at the perfect moment, or a seemingly random opportunity could present itself just when you need it most. These moments are the universe's way of showing you that it's listening and working in tandem with your intentions. Patience and trust are also vital in this process. While the universe is always answering, it operates on its own timing, which may not always align with your expectations. Sometimes what seems like a delay is the universe arranging circumstances behind the scenes to ensure the best possible outcome for you. Trust that when you've set your intentions and aligned yourself with what you desire, the universe will respond in the perfect way and at the perfect time. Your role is to maintain faith, keep your vibration high, and remain open to receiving. Ultimately, the universe is like a loyal partner, always ready to respond to your energy, thoughts, and emotions. The more aligned and intentional you are in what you send out, the more clearly and powerfully the universe will answer. By understanding this dynamic, you can actively co-create your reality, transforming your life into one that reflects your highest potential and deepest desires. All you have to do is believe, align, and trust in the process. The universe is always listening. And that's it for the day. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to share your thoughts and insights in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.
There comes a time when the soul must cease its restless wandering. The more we seek, the more we affirm that what we seek is missing. Desire is not a call to chase, but a signal to awaken to what already is. The treasure is not somewhere out there waiting to be found. It is already here, awaiting recognition. When you stop seeking, you stop declaring lack. You no longer whisper to the universe that you do not have. Instead, you stand still and declare, "It is mine." In that moment of stillness, creation answers. The still heart, the restful mind, the assured spirit, these are the magnets of fulfillment. The secret lies not in pursuit, but in assumption. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you no longer chase it, you embody it. And by embodying it, you call it forth. It comes not because you ran after it, but because you became it. The seed of every desire is planted in your imagination, and by dwelling in its reality, you water it until it blossoms in the seen world. Stop seeking and rest in the being of your desire. The law is simple. What you inwardly accept as true must clothe itself in fact. When you look outward, you may see only shadows. When you look inward, you behold the truth. And when the truth is seen within, it cannot be denied without. Do not run, do not beg, do not chase. Rest, assume, and live as though it is already done. In stillness, the world bends to your state of being. That which you once sought now seeks you. That which you once pursued now pursues you. And what was once a dream becomes the fabric of your reality. Desire fulfilled exists now, and this is the truth that sets you free from endless searching. The moment a desire is born in you, its fulfillment is already complete in the unseen. What you call desire is not a signal of lack, but a whisper of remembrance. It is the inner echo of something that already exists in spirit, now pressing upon your awareness so that you may bring it into visibility. To chase after it, to seek and struggle, is to proclaim that it does not yet belong to you. Seeking affirms absence, but assumption affirms possession. When you see yourself as already in possession of what you long for, the unseen begins to harden into the seen. Think of the seed planted in the soil. The moment it is sown, the full-grown tree already exists in potential. To look at the seed and declare, "Where is the tree?" is to ignore the truth that the tree is already there, concealed within. In the same way, when you hold a desire in your heart, its fulfillment is not something far away, not something you must chase, but something already planted within your being. Your role is not to run in pursuit, but to nurture the inner reality until it emerges outwardly. Every time you say, "I want," you affirm that you do not yet have. Every time you say, "I seek," you reinforce the distance between yourself and your desire. But when you shift to "I am," you bridge that distance instantly. I am wealthy. I am loved. I am free. These statements of being are declarations that what you long for exists now. The outer world cannot resist the inner acceptance of truth. It must align, because the world is nothing more than the mirror of your inner state. Desire is the preview of fulfillment. It is not a sign that something is missing, but proof that it is already yours in the unseen dimension. Why would you be given the hunger if the feast did not exist? Why would the thirst be felt if water were not already present? The very fact that you can desire it is evidence that it is real, waiting only for your recognition. Stop seeking, for seeking only pushes it further away. Instead, dwell in the end. Live from the place where the desire is already fulfilled. Feel the satisfaction, the gratitude, the joy of already being the one who has it. This shift in consciousness is the bridge between invisibility and visibility. Creation is finished, and your desires are part of that finished work. When you stand in this truth, you no longer beg or chase, you rest in the knowing that it is already so. To live in the awareness of desire fulfilled is to live in freedom. It is to walk with assurance, to speak with confidence, to rest in peace. What you long for is not on its way. It already exists. The unseen is complete, and when you cease to seek, you allow it to unfold in perfect time. The desire fulfilled exists now, and by accepting this, you make it your living reality. Stillness is the gateway, for in quiet surrender, the door opens for what you wish to enter your life. The world teaches constant striving, restless movement, and endless effort, as though the more you chase, the faster things will come. Yet the truth is the opposite. The power that brings your desires into being is not found in agitation, but in calm assurance. It is when you still the mind, when you let go of frantic searching, that the invisible currents of life move in your favor. Stillness is not passivity, it is alignment. It is not weakness, it is strength in its highest form. When you are still, you stop resisting. You stop creating waves that distort the reflection of your own desire. Imagine a lake disturbed by constant motion. The surface ripples and trembles, preventing any clear reflection. But when the water is still, it becomes a perfect mirror, showing back exactly what is held before it. So it is with your consciousness. The busier your mind, the harder it is to receive the impressions of fulfillment. But when you rest in silence, your inner state reflects clearly and life mirrors it back in form. Stillness is not about inactivity in the outer world. It is about quietness within. You may act, you may move, you may fulfill daily duties, but inwardly you rest. You release the anxious question of when will it come, how will it happen, what should I do next? Those questions belong to the restless seeker. The one who understands the law knows that silence is the bridge. In silence, you affirm that it is already done. You let go of time, you let go of struggle, you let go of doubt. And in that sacred quiet, creation moves without obstruction. Surrender is not defeat. To surrender is to yield to the higher wisdom that already knows the path. You are not giving up your desire, you are giving up your resistance to it. You are ceasing to fight against the current, allowing the river of life to carry you to the fulfillment that has always been yours. This surrender is not laziness, but trust. It is the bold decision to believe that the unseen is real, that the invisible is working, and that your stillness is the very act that unlocks the door. In quietness, inspiration rises. The answers you seek, the ideas you need, the direction you long for, all come naturally when the noise of the mind is silenced. What cannot be solved through striving is resolved through rest. What effort cannot build, stillness manifests with ease. This is why stillness is the true gateway. It is the point where human striving yields to divine flow. When you learn to be still, you discover that everything you desired was always close, always pressing at the door, waiting for your surrender. The moment you stop pushing, it enters. The moment you rest, it arrives. Stillness does not delay, stillness delivers. For in quiet surrender, you step into harmony with the unseen, and in that harmony, all that you wish for walks calmly into your life. Imagination is possession, for to inwardly feel and see your desire is to already hold it. The world often teaches that possession is limited to what can be touched, counted, or displayed in the outer realm. Yet the true possession begins within, where all creation is first born. What you claim in imagination is as real as what you grasp in your hands, for the unseen precedes the seen. Every house, every invention, every triumph first lived in the mind of someone who dared to imagine it. The chair you sit on was once only a vision. The home you enter was once a dream in someone's heart. To imagine is to possess, and possession in imagination ensures manifestation in form. When you inwardly feel yourself to be what you desire, you are not pretending, you are claiming. To imagine with feeling is not to play games with the mind, it is to plant seeds in the soil of reality. The world outside cannot resist the inner conviction of the one who knows. If you see yourself as poor, struggling, or unworthy within, no amount of outward effort can change your condition, for you carry poverty in your imagination. But if you clothe yourself in abundance inwardly, if you walk in the inner world as the wealthy, the free, the beloved, then you already possess it. Life must mirror what you hold within. Imagination is not daydreaming without power. It is the workshop of creation. Every image you hold with faith is a blueprint of your future. To picture yourself healthy, strong, and whole, and to feel that state with gratitude, is to already step into health. To envision yourself in love, secure and cherished, and to inwardly dwell in that joy, is to already possess love. The possession begins the moment you claim it within. The outer world is only the slow unfolding of what is already secure. This is why imagination must be disciplined. If you allow it to run wild with fear, doubt, and defeat, you possess those things just as surely. The anxious heart imagines loss, and loss appears. The fearful mind imagines failure, and failure is born. But when you deliberately choose to see and feel what you desire as yours, you hold power that no circumstance can resist. You have stepped beyond waiting into having. The beauty of this truth is that no one can take your possession from you. Outward things may shift, but what you inwardly claim cannot be stolen. As long as you walk in the unseen with conviction, the outer world will bow to it in time. What you continually feel and imagine becomes your atmosphere, and life always conforms to the atmosphere you carry. To imagine is to begin living now in the reality you long for. It is to rise above appearances and claim the unseen as more real than the visible. You do not wait to possess. You possess the instant you inwardly accept. And once you accept, the outer world cannot help but catch up. Imagination is possession, and possession within is the guarantee of manifestation without. The law of reversal teaches that the moment you stop running after things, they begin to run toward you. Life seems to condition us into believing that pursuit is the way, that only by striving and chasing can we obtain what we long for. Yet, in truth, chasing affirms distance, and pursuit declares lack. Whatever you chase flees, and whatever you run after stays just beyond your reach. But when you reverse the law, when you seize the restless pursuit and instead embody the reality of already having it, you shift from seeker to possessor. What once seemed far now comes near because it recognizes its reflection in you. To embody the reality now is to live from the end. It means no longer saying, one day I will have, but instead, I already am. If you desire wealth, stop running after money and begin to embody abundance. Feel rich in your imagination. Act as though prosperity flows through you. If you desire love, stop chasing affection, and begin to dwell in the state of being loved. Walk with the posture, the joy, the quiet confidence of one who is cherished. By embodying, you magnetize. By chasing, you repel. This reversal is not about passivity, but about inner alignment. The world outside is only a mirror of your inner state. When you embody what you seek, you declare to the universe that it is already yours. Life has no choice but to mirror that conviction back to you. Imagine a person chasing their shadow. The harder they run, the further it seems, always just out of reach. But the moment they stand still, the shadow rests at their feet. So it is with your desires. Stop the chase, and they will find you where you stand. The law of reversal is the end of striving. Striving belongs to the realm of lack. Embodying belongs to the realm of fulfillment. To say, I will have, is to keep it in the future. To say, I am, is to anchor it in the present. Creation is finished, and all states already exist. By embodying the one you desire, you select it as your present experience. And once selected inwardly, it must express itself outwardly. The power of this law is seen everywhere. The one desperate for love finds rejection, while the one secure in love within attracts it without. The one chasing success with anxiety stumbles, while the one who already feels successful within draws opportunities with ease. Reversal means stepping out of the role of beggar and into the role of owner. It means walking as though you already have, so that life cannot help but yield. To live by the law of reversal is to shift from pursuit to possession, from striving to being. Stop running after what you desire. Embody its reality now. Wear the feeling of fulfillment as a garment. When you do, the things you once chased will chase you. The law is unchanging. When you stop running, everything you long for begins to run toward you. Assumption over effort is the secret to effortless creation. The world glorifies toil, struggle, and endless striving, as though the harder you work, the closer you will come to your dreams. But in truth, effort often springs from doubt. When you believe something is not yet yours, you strain and push, hoping to make it real. Yet the more you strain, the more you affirm that it is absent. Effort is the language of lack. Assumption is the language of fulfillment. To assume the state of your desire is to bypass struggle and rest in the certainty that it is already yours. Assumption is not wishful thinking, it is possession in consciousness. To assume is to inwardly accept a new identity, to walk in the feeling of the wish fulfilled without waiting for evidence. If you assume you are wealthy, you no longer toil anxiously for money, you live in quiet confidence that wealth surrounds you. If you assume you are loved, you no longer chase affection or fear rejection. You carry yourself as one already cherished. The assumption becomes your atmosphere, and life conforms to it. Effort strains because it fights against the truth of being. Imagine trying to push a door that only opens inward. The harder you push, the more resistance you create. Yet the moment you stop pushing and simply pull, the door swings open with ease. Effort is that pushing. Assumption is that gentle pull, the alignment with how the door was meant to open. Creation responds not to force, but to acceptance. When you rest in assumption, you no longer ask, when will it come or how will it happen? Those questions dissolve because you have already claimed it. You do not question when the sun will rise tomorrow, you assume it. And in that assumption, you rest. So it is with every desire. Assumption allows you to live in peace, knowing the unseen is unfolding without strain. Effort demands constant proof, but assumption already knows. The great paradox is that when you stop relying on effort, inspired action flows with ease. Instead of running in circles, you move with clarity and precision. The phone call you need to make, the step you need to take, the idea that changes everything, all of it comes naturally when you rest in assumption. Effort burns energy without direction. Assumption channels energy with power. To assume is to step into identity now. The actor who fully assumes his role no longer pretends. He becomes the character in every gesture, every word, every movement. In the same way, when you assume your desire, you are no longer pretending or hoping. You are becoming. And once you become, the world must adjust to the new state you embody. Rest, therefore, in the knowing that it is already yours. Release the struggle, for effort is strain, but assumption is power. What you inwardly accept without doubt will shape itself outwardly without fail. To live by assumption is to live as though the promise is already kept. And when you rest in that truth, life has no choice but to make it visible. Rest in being is the highest state of power, for when you stop chasing and simply be, everything aligns with your inner conviction. The world trains us to chase success, chase love, chase recognition, chase fulfillment. Yet chasing is rooted in the belief that what you seek is outside of you. The more you chase, the further it runs. For your pursuit testifies that it does not yet belong to you. But when you rest in being, you declare, I already am, I already have, I already live in the fulfillment. In that state, life reorganizes itself to match your conviction. Being is greater than becoming. Becoming suggests a process that is never finished, always reaching, always moving toward, but never arriving. Being is the stillness of arrival. It is the quiet acknowledgement that you are already the person you long to be. When you rest in that identity, the world reflects it without strain. You no longer force circumstances to bend. They bend naturally because they recognize the authority of your inner state. To rest in being is not to give up action, but to release anxious effort. You still move, but your movement flows from certainty rather than desperation. A tree does not strain to grow. It simply rests in being a tree, and from that being its fruit appears in season. Likewise, you do not strain to prove or to force your desire. You rest in being, and the fruit of your assumption ripens in its perfect time. Rest is not inactivity. It is alignment. It is the posture of faith, the calm assurance that what is real inwardly must manifest outwardly. When you rest, you say to life, I trust the unseen. You no longer monitor the clock, measure the distance, or doubt the process. You settle into identity, and identity carries power. The one who knows himself as wealthy rests. The one who knows herself as loved rests. The one who knows freedom is already theirs rests. In that rest, the invisible aligns the visible. Consider the difference between a beggar and a king. The beggar chases, pleads, and grasps, hoping to receive. The king simply is. He does not chase his authority, he embodies it. And because he embodies it, all around him conforms to his being. In the same way, when you embody the state you desire and rest in it, life bows to your inner authority. The chase ends when you recognize that everything you long for already exists within. To run after it is to deny it. To rest in being is to accept it. Rest is the gateway to manifestation because rest is the atmosphere of faith. Faith does not strain, does not question, does not plead. It rests, knowing the outcome is secure. When you stop chasing and simply be, you live in freedom. You release the burden of striving and enter the joy of knowing. And as you rest in being, the whole of creation responds. Circumstances shift, doors open, people appear, and opportunities flow. Not because you chased them, but because you embodied the state that drew them in. Rest in being, and all will align with the conviction you hold within. The message has been simple yet profound. Stop chasing, stop seeking, and instead live in the knowing that all you desire already exists within you. Desire fulfilled is now. Stillness is the gateway. Imagination is possession. The law of reversal is your power. Assumption outweighs effort, and rest in being is the key. Together, these truths reveal that creation is not something you must force. It is something you must embody. The moment you assume the state of your wish fulfilled and rest in that conviction, the world reshapes itself to reflect your inner certainty. So let this be your final reminder. You are not a seeker, you are a creator. You are not waiting for life to give. You are here to accept that it is already given. Stop seeking, and what you long for will come. Rest in faith, dwell in the end, and allow the invisible to clothe itself in the visible. Thank you for listening, and may you walk from this moment not as a seeker, but as one who already possesses. When God said, "Do not look for a job," He was not telling you to be idle. He was calling you to awaken to the truth that all supply, all provision, all opportunity already exists within you. To seek endlessly outside is to confess that you do not yet believe in the power of the life you carry within. The world is only a mirror. It reflects back the state you occupy. If you see yourself as a seeker, the world will always keep you searching. But if you see yourself as already established, already supplied, the world must conform. A job is not your provider, God is. Employers are but instruments moved by the hand of your assumption. To chase after them in desperation is to forget who truly authors your story. You are not meant to knock on doors in fear. You are meant to stand as the door itself. When you embody the state of wealth, of stability, of purpose, then positions, contracts, and opportunities appear as shadows of that inner truth. The mind of man says, "Go out and hunt for work." The voice of spirit says, "Be still and know that I am." For in stillness, you clothe yourself in the reality desired. In stillness, you move from lack into fullness. And when you carry that fullness as your being, life bends to acknowledge it. The great mistake is to believe that your livelihood depends on chance, on connections, on the permission of others. But the truth is greater. Your livelihood depends on your state of being. When you know yourself as already chosen, already placed, already thriving, you stop searching and you start living. So when God says, "Don't look for a job," hear the deeper meaning. Stop chasing shadows and awaken to substance. Assume the end. Live in the feeling that you are already where you desire to be. Speak from it, walk in it, sleep in it, and soon the world will rearrange itself to bear witness to the power you carried all along. You are not looking for employment. You are looking for recognition of the truth within. And when you hold to it, The world has no choice but to hire, to call, to promote, to open doors. Because you were never waiting on them. They were waiting on you. God's command is to create, not to seek permission from the world. You were never placed on this earth to beg, to plead, or to wait for someone else to decide your worth. Creation is your inheritance, your divine right, the very breath within you. To create is to stand as the image and likeness of the source, to know that what you imagine with conviction carries more power than all the approvals or denials of men. The world of appearances whispers to you that you must wait, that you must qualify, that you must be chosen by someone greater than yourself. But the truth is this: you have already been chosen. Life itself stamped you with authority the moment you were born. You do not need permission to live in abundance, to succeed, to rise, or to manifest the vision that burns within you. When you seek permission, you hand your power away. You lower yourself beneath the world and confess silently that you are not enough. But when you create, you stand upright in the authority that was yours from the beginning. Creation is not only in the act of making something with your hands. Creation begins in consciousness. It begins with the invisible blueprint of thought and feeling. Every image you hold with faith is a seed, and every seed produces after its own kind. If you imagine yourself free, you will live in freedom. If you imagine yourself wealthy, the channels of wealth will appear. If you imagine yourself rejected, doors will close before you. The outer world only echoes back the inner decree. The command was never to look outward for validation, but inward for realization. The world cannot tell you who you are, for it only reflects the mask you wear. If you wear the mask of a seeker, it will keep you wandering. If you wear the mask of a creator, it will bow before you. The difference is not in the world, but in you. When you recognize that creation is your work, you stop waiting for life to happen, and you begin to call life forth. Think of the artists, the inventors, the pioneers who transformed history. They were not men and women who begged for the world's permission. They saw in their mind's eye what did not yet exist, and they dared to give it form. They created, and the world had to adjust. The same spirit moves in you. Your vision is not given to you to be debated or approved. It is given to you because you are the one chosen to birth it. Creation is the language of God, and you are His echo. Each time you choose to imagine boldly, to feel the reality of your desire, to live in its certainty before the evidence arrives, you are obeying the highest command. Do not wait for permission is weakness. Create, and let the world bear witness to the authority of one who knows who they are. Your job is to assume the state of already being provided for. Life was never meant to be lived in anxiety over how you will survive, who will help you, or where the next opportunity will come from. The source within you has already finished the work before you even ask. The provision exists, but it is invisible until you align yourself with it. To assume the state of being provided for is to live as though the answer has already arrived. To walk as one who knows there is no lack, and to rest in the certainty that what is unseen will soon become seen. When you worry, you are declaring with your energy that provision is absent. You are standing in the state of not having, and therefore the world mirrors back lack and difficulty. But when you shift into the state of already being supplied, the burden falls off your shoulders. You stop striving, you stop chasing, and instead You carry yourself with quiet confidence. Opportunities that once seemed far away begin to move toward you. People and circumstances that you could not plan for suddenly appear as if summoned. This is not magic, it is law. The inner assumption creates the outer reflection. Starkey, to assume is to claim. It is to accept within yourselves that the reality you desire is already established, already real. You do not wait for the money to arrive before you feel secure. You feel secure first, and then the money finds its way to you. You do not wait for the offer to come before you see yourself valuable. You assume your value now, and then the offer is drawn to you. Your job is not to figure out the how. Your job is to hold the state so deeply that life cannot help but bow to it. This is why the greatest wealth is not in possessions, but in awareness. A man may have nothing in his hands, but if he carries the state of provision in his heart, he will always be supplied. And another may have great riches, but if he carries the state of lack within, his wealth will slip through his fingers. The difference lies not in the outer, but in the inner. Imagine a child in a home where love and care are certain. That child does not worry about whether food will appear on the table or whether the roof will remain overhead. The child rests because provision is assumed. This is the posture you must carry with life itself. You are in the care of the infinite, and the infinite does not fail. To assume the state of being provided for is to step into childlike trust, not passivity, but a knowing that frees you to act boldly, speak confidently, and live fully. So lay down the fear of tomorrow. Lay down the belief that you must strive and beg to survive. Assume the state of already being provided for. Walk in it, breathe in it, sleep in it, and the world will unfold in perfect agreement with the reality you have dared to claim. The outer world is only a shadow of your inner conviction. What you see with your eyes, what you touch with your hands, what you experience day after day is not the true reality. It is only the echo, the reflection, the shadow of what you have accepted within yourself. The world is not the cause, it is the effect. To believe the world creates your state is to place power in the shadow rather than the light. Shadows move only when the substance moves. Your conviction, your inner certainty is the substance. Every man carries within him an invisible pattern, and this pattern determines what he meets in the visible world. You cannot hold thoughts of limitation and expect freedom outside. You cannot dwell in fear and see security reflected in life. And just the same, you cannot carry a conviction of abundance and not have abundance find its way to you. The world is obedient. It only returns what you send out. This is why two people can live under the same roof in the same city with the same opportunities and yet experience completely different lives. One may live in struggle, the other in ease. One may see closed doors, the other sees open paths. The difference is not in the world they share, but in the conviction they carry. The world bends to the inner decree, silently, unfailingly, without exception. Conviction is not mere wishing. Conviction is knowing. It is the quiet assurance that what you have accepted within must take form without. A man who knows he is worthy walks differently, speaks differently, and the world mirrors that worth back to him. A man who knows he is unloved also carries himself in such a way that the world echoes his belief. Life cannot contradict the state you occupy. It has no power to resist your conviction. So if you dislike what you see in the outer world, do not curse the shadow, change the light. Do not fight the reflection, transform the source. Begin within. Begin by assuming the feeling of the reality you desire. Begin by holding with persistence the conviction that you are already who you wish to be. The shadow must follow. The world has no choice. This is why it is useless to wrestle with circumstances. Circumstances are old convictions clothed in matter. If you attempt to change them without changing the state that produced them, you will find yourself in endless struggle. But shift your conviction, and the world will rearrange with ease. The outer is powerless on its own. It only reveals the image you cast upon it. So remember, the world you walk through is nothing more than a moving mirror. It is not your master, it is your servant. It cannot create, it can only echo. Hold fast then to the truth within. Stand firm in the conviction of your desired state. For when the inner shifts, the outer must follow. The shadow cannot resist the light. Security does not come from employers, but from the source within. To believe that your well-being depends on the will of another man, a company, or a paycheck is to anchor your life to something unstable. Employers may change their policies. Markets may rise and fall. Positions may be offered or withdrawn. But the true supply of your life cannot be touched by these outer movements. It flows from a deeper well, a well that cannot run dry. The source within you. When you tether your sense of safety to what is outside, you are at the mercy of shadows. But when you root yourself in the knowledge that the source is within, you carry a security that no crisis, no layoff, no economy can ever take from you. The world teaches dependence. It says, find a company to take care of you, secure a salary to guarantee your future. But what happens when that company closes its doors? What happens when the salary is reduced or the job is lost? Those who believe their life was built on the employer collapse with the collapse of the structure. Yet those who know that their life is built on the source within stand firm because their security was never external to begin with. This inner source is infinite, creative, and ever-present. It is the reservoir of ideas, the spark of inspiration, the unseen current that moves circumstances to your favor when you remain in faith. Employers, opportunities, and people are only channels, vessels through which the inner supply expresses itself. The channels may change, but the source never dries up. When one door closes, another must open, for the supply is not tied to the door, it is tied to you. Consider a tree planted by living waters. It does not fear the change of seasons, for its roots reach into a stream that never ceases. So too must you anchor your roots in the source within. When you do, external changes cannot shake your peace. You know that provision will always find you, often in ways unexpected, because you live in harmony with the true supply. Security is not in the promise of an employer's paycheck. It is in the conviction of your own being. When you assume yourself to be secure, you align with the source, and the world mirrors that state back. New work appears, unexpected income flows, doors you could not have forced open swing wide, and people are moved to act on your behalf. This is not chance. It is the law of life responding to your awareness. Do not reduce yourself to one who begs for stability. from men who are themselves dependent on the same source. Recognize that the security you long for is already within you and it is limitless. Walk in that knowledge and let the outer world conform. Employers may hire you, they may release you, but they cannot control your life. For your true security does not come from them, but from the eternal source that lives in you. When you embody the state of abundance, opportunities bend to you. Life does not respond to your words alone, nor to your desperate attempts to grasp at chance. It responds to the state you carry within. If you walk in lack, every circumstance will seem to reinforce that poverty. If you walk in fullness, the world will mirror your richness back to you in ways both great and small. The secret is not in chasing after opportunities, but in becoming the embodiment of the very thing you desire. Abundance is not first measured in possessions, bank accounts, or contracts. Abundance begins as a feeling, a conviction, a quiet assurance that you already hold enough, and that life always provides more than enough. This state does not beg, it does not strain, it does not anxiously wait. It rests in the certainty that all needs are met, and it carries itself as one already supplied. And when you carry yourself this way, opportunities cannot help but align with you, because the outer is compelled to reflect the inner. Imagine a person walking into a room with the energy of fullness. They are not looking to take, they radiate the sense that they already have. People are drawn to such a presence. Doors open, connections form, and resources find their way to them. On the other hand, a person who walks in lack repels what they seek, for their very presence declares, "I do not have." Life always mirrors the declaration, opportunities are not outside of you waiting to be discovered, they are drawn to the vibration you hold. When you embody abundance, you no longer hunt for chances with fear in your eyes. Instead, you move with confidence, and the right circumstances present themselves naturally. This is why some people seem to be lucky. Their good fortune is not luck at all. It is the law of their state. They live in abundance within, and the world bends in obedience. To embody abundance is to assume the role of the one who already has what they seek. It is to live as though doors are already open, as though wealth already flows, as though opportunities are already present. And because you occupy that state, the shadow world must reflect it back. Life cannot resist. The mistake is to think you must first see abundance before you feel it. In truth, you must first feel it before you see it. You must practice the inner reality until it becomes natural, until it becomes your atmosphere. When that shift occurs, the smallest actions you take are charged with power. Even a casual conversation can turn into a breakthrough, a chance encounter into a divine appointment, an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. So stop chasing, stop pleading, stop imagining yourself empty. Embody the state of abundance. Walk in it, speak from it, rest in it, and watch how opportunities that once seemed distant bend themselves into your path, eager to serve the reality you dared to carry within. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to command by being. Chasing is the act of one who has forgotten who they are, of one who believes life is separate, distant, and withholding. To chase is to declare lack, to announce that what you desire is not yet yours, and therefore you must run after it. But life was never designed for you to live as a beggar at the door of opportunity. You were created to stand as one with authority, knowing that the very essence of what you desire flows from within. You do not chase, because all that belongs to you comes when you embody it. Commanding by being does not mean barking orders at the world. It means inhabiting the state so fully that the world has no choice but to reflect it. If you desire love, you do not chase after it in desperation. You become love itself, warm, open, magnetic. And love appears. If you desire wealth, you do not run frantically trying to earn approval. You become wealth in awareness, calm, confident, generous, and wealth comes to you. The power lies not in pursuit, but in assumption. The one who chases lives in fear, always trying to prove their worth. The one who commands rests, knowing they are already enough. There is a quiet majesty in this posture. When you embody your desired reality, people sense it without words. Circumstances bend, opportunities align, and doors open, not because you begged, but because you stood. The king does not chase his subjects, his presence commands loyalty. The magnet does not chase the iron, it draws it naturally. So too are you meant to draw life by the power of your state. The tragedy of many is that they spend their days running in circles, thinking effort and struggle are the keys to destiny. They run after recognition, after approval, after validation, never realizing that what they chase runs because their state is one of absence. Chasing keeps the thing desired at a distance, but the moment you stop running and instead embody the state of already having, what was once distant comes close. Commanding by being is simple, though not always easy. It requires faith, persistence, and the courage to stand in the unseen until it becomes seen. It means walking into rooms with the certainty that you belong even before anyone acknowledges it. It means carrying yourself as prosperous even when the account looks empty. It means speaking as one who already possesses what they desire, not as one begging the world to deliver it. Life does not reward chasing, it rewards being. The one who is receives. The one who pretends to lack continues to lack. The law cannot be broken. You were never meant to chase, you were meant to command. By the very vibration of your being, when you finally live this truth, you will find that everything you once pursued begins to pursue you. The truth is simple, yet life-changing. You were never meant to live in fear of tomorrow, never meant to chase after crumbs from the world's table. You were created to stand as a creator, to assume the state of already being supplied, and to let the outer world reflect the conviction you carry within. Jobs, employers, opportunities, and circumstances are only channels. They are not your source. Your true security, your true abundance, your true provision comes from within, the eternal well that never runs dry. When you stop seeking permission from men and begin to embody the authority of spirit, life itself bends to serve you. Do not look outside in desperation. Look within in certainty. Command not by force, but by being. Live as if you already are the one you desire to be, and soon the world will bow to that truth. The shadow must always follow the light, and the light is you. Thank you for giving your heart and your attention to this message. May you walk from this moment forward with confidence, knowing that everything you need is already within you. Stay blessed, stay unwavering, and remember, you are the creator of your world.
Imagination is the one and only reality. Everything that now exists in your world was first a conception, an idea, a state of consciousness. There is no exception to this rule. The clothes you wear, the chair upon which you sit. The building around us all began as an idea in someone's mind before it was projected into space. You are consciousness. You are not your body, your circumstances, your bank account, your social position. These are but shadows, reflections of your states of consciousness. The real you is the awareness, the I am at the center of your being. Once you truly understand this, you have taken the first step toward mastery of life. Now, the great secret to getting whatever you want lies in one simple principle: what you assume you become. Your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, direct the course of your life. Assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This is the law by which all things come into manifestation. Consider for a moment when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled when you live from the end, mentally dwelling in the state of already having what you desire. You set in motion forces beyond your conscious awareness that reshape your world to match your assumption. This is not positive thinking. This is the creative use of consciousness itself. Let me share with you a simple experiment to prove this principle. Tonight, before you sleep, define clearly in your mind something you deeply desire. It could be a specific amount of money, a relationship, a job promotion, profit of anything that feels significant to you. Now close your eyes and ask yourself, how would I feel if my desire were already fulfilled? What would I experience? How would I see the world? What would I hear from others? Then create a scene in your imagination that implies your desire is already a fact. Perhaps it is a friend congratulating you on your good fortune. Perhaps it is simply the feeling of relief and satisfaction knowing your desire is now manifest. Make this scene as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Enter into it completely. Feel the reality of it. Experience the naturalness of having what you want. Do this exercise for just a few minutes, but with complete concentration and feeling. Then release it and fall asleep in this consciousness. You need not repeat it again and again throughout the day, though you may if you wish. The important thing is the intensity of feeling, the completeness of the experience in your imagination. What you have done is plant a seed in the fertile soil of consciousness. Just as a farmer plants a seed and then allows nature to take its course, you must allow the seed to grow naturally into manifestation. Do not dig it up every day to see if it has sprouted. Have faith in the law, for the law never fails. You see, imagination is not fantasy as most believe it to be. Imagination is the very creative power of God operating within you. Man is all imagination and God is man and exists in us. And we imagine when you are literally exercising divine creative power. This is why the Bible tells us to be renewed by the transformation of your mind. Your mind, properly directed in imagination, transforms your entire life. Many of you may be thinking, but I have tried to imagine good things and they did not come to pass. May I suggest that your failure was not in the law, but in your application of it. You may have imagined what you want, but did you feel the reality of it? Did you accept it as true in consciousness, or did doubt and disbelief counteract your creative work? I tell you now, the outer world is a reflection, a shadow of your inner assumptions. Here is no way under the sun for you to escape your current state of consciousness. Whatever you are conscious of being, you will express, and what you are not conscious of being, you cannot express. This is immutable law. Consider the biblical instruction: whatsoever things you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. This is not a promise of some future fulfillment, it is a statement of a present fact. When you pray, when you imagine, you must believe you have already received, and then you will manifest it in your world. So many people reverse this process. They look to the evidence of their senses to tell them what is possible. They say, when I see it, I will believe it. But the creative process works in the opposite direction. When you believe it, you will see it. Your consciousness must precede your experience, never the reverse. There is literally nothing you cannot be, do, or have when you know how to use the creative power of your own consciousness. Let me address a question that may have arisen in your mind. What about other people? Can I use this law to influence others? The answer is both simple and profound. There are no others. What you see in another is only a reflection of a state within yourself. When you change your concept of another, they must change relative to you. This does not violate free will, for consciousness is one. The separation we perceive is an illusion of the senses. At the deeper level of being, we are united in the one consciousness that underlies all life. This is why the Bible says, "In him we live and move and have our being." We are individualized centers of the one divine consciousness. So if there is someone in your life who you wish would change, a critical spouse, a difficult boss, an unruly child, do not try to change their behavior directly. Instead, change your consciousness of them. See them mentally as you wish them to be. Interact with them in your imagination as if they were already expressing the qualities you desire to see. If you persist in this new consciousness, they must conform to your new conception, for your consciousness of them is part of your world of shadows that must rearrange itself to match your inner assumptions. The consciousness that creates worlds is divine love itself. When your desire springs from love, love for yourself, love for others, love for life itself, its manifestation is assured. If you find that your desire is tinged with fear, resentment, or the need to prove something, I urge you to elevate it. Ask yourself, what do I really want? What is the essence of this desire? Often you will discover that beneath the superficial want lies a deeper longing that is pure and loving. For instance, you may think you want wealth to show others your worth, but beneath that is the deeper desire for freedom, security, and the ability to express your gifts. Focus on this essence, and your manifestation will come more naturally and bring greater fulfillment when it arrives. Many of you have been taught that circumstances create your thoughts and feelings. You believe that when your circumstances improve, then you will feel better and think more positively. This is exactly backward. Your circumstances are the effect, not the cause of your consciousness. When you wait for circumstances to change before changing your consciousness, you trap yourself in a circle of perpetual limitation. The way out is to boldly assume the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, regardless of appearing circumstances. This requires a radical faith in the primacy of consciousness. You must be willing to call those things which do not yet appear in your world as though they did. This is not self-deception, it is understanding the true creative process. Do not be discouraged if your world does not change overnight. Continue night after night to sleep in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. Your persistence in maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, despite contradictory evidence from your senses, is the measure of your faith. And according to your faith, it is done unto you. There may be times when doubts arise, when your old patterns of thought reclaim your attention. This is natural. Do not fight these thoughts or feelings. Simply acknowledge them and gently bring your consciousness back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remember, you are breaking lifelong habits of thought. Just as it would take time and consistent effort to master a new physical skill, like playing the piano or speaking a new language, it takes practice to master this new way of using consciousness. But I promise you this, with continued application, this process becomes easier and more natural. You will find yourself spontaneously thinking from your desire rather than of it. When this shift occurs, manifestation accelerates dramatically. Now let me address an aspect that many find difficult: letting go of the how. Your job is not to determine how your desire will manifest. Your job is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. and allow infinite intelligence to bring it about in the most appropriate way. Often we limit our good by trying to dictate exactly how it should come to us. We may have a specific person, circumstance, or event in mind as the vehicle for our desire. But by fixating on the specific channel, we block countless other channels through which our good might flow. The consciousness that created the universe does not need your assistance in determining the path of manifestation. Your role is to determine the what through your assumption. The how will take care of itself. When you try to control the how, you limit yourself to what your current mindset believes is possible. When you surrender the how while maintaining the feeling of the end, you open yourself to infinite possibilities. You are the very consciousness in which all things exist. When you know this not intellectually but experientially, you step into your divine inheritance as a creative being made in the image of God. Consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you will express in your world. Your assumptions persisted in hardened into fact, therefore assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The creative process involves clarifying your desire, constructing a scene that implies fulfillment, and experiencing that scene with full sensory and emotional involvement until it feels natural. Sleep in the consciousness of your desire, fulfilled, allowing it to sink deeply into your subconscious mind, where it will germinate and express in your outer world. Do not concern yourself with the how. Your job is to maintain the consciousness of the end, and the means will take care of themselves. Be persistent in your new assumption, though your senses may deny it. Continue to be faithful to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Express gratitude for your desire as though it were already manifest. This attitude accelerates the manifestation process. Finally, embody the consciousness of your desire in all aspects of your life. Think, feel, speak, and act as the person who already has what you desire. The power is not outside of you. It is not something to attain or achieve. It is your very being, your I amness. Use this power consciously, lovingly, and with reverence, and there is absolutely nothing you cannot be, do, or have.
Fear is not an enemy to fight, nor a force to overcome. Fear is simply a signpost, indicating that you are standing at the edge of transformation. When fear begins to loosen its grip, it means something profound is happening within you. The old way of seeing yourself and life is losing its authority. This moment, right now, is your turning point. There was a time when uncertainty dictated your reactions, when doubt whispered stories of limitation and delay. But notice what is changing. The fear that once felt solid is becoming transparent. It no longer commands your attention as it once did. This is not coincidence. It is the result of an inner shift, a quiet decision to no longer identify with the version of yourself that expected struggle. Every turning point begins internally. Long before circumstances change, the feeling changes. You begin to sense stability where there was once tension. You feel calm where anxiety used to live. This calm is not passive, it is powerful. It signals that you are no longer negotiating with fear. You are simply moving beyond it. Fear only survives when you believe it has authority over your future. The moment you withdraw that belief, fear weakens. You do not need to analyze it, suppress it, or explain it away. You only need to stop feeding it with attention. As you do, a deeper knowing emerges. The knowing that life responds to your inner state, not to your past experiences. This is why this moment matters. You are no longer waiting for permission to feel secure, confident, or fulfilled. You are allowing those feelings now. And when you allow them now, you set something irreversible in motion. The inner world rearranges first, and the outer world follows without effort. Your turning point is not dramatic or loud. It is subtle, almost ordinary. It feels like relief. It feels like space. It feels like realizing that you no longer need to brace yourself for disappointment. You begin to expect alignment instead of resistance. You assume support instead of struggle. An assumption is creative. As fear dissolves, you may notice an urge to pause or look back, as if checking whether it is safe to continue. This is the last echo of an old identity. Do not stop here. This is not the time to retreat into familiar patterns. This is the time to keep going, not through force, but through quiet persistence. Keeping going means remaining faithful to the inner shift you have already accepted. It means choosing the feeling of trust again and again, even when the external picture has not fully caught up. It means refusing to interpret temporary silence as failure. Silence is often the space where things are rearranging themselves. Understand this clearly. The absence of fear does not mean the absence of movement. It means movement is now effortless. When fear is gone, action arises naturally. Decisions feel clear, responses feel aligned. You are no longer pushing life, you are allowing it to meet you. This turning point does not require you to become someone new. It requires you to stop denying who you already are. You are not becoming confident. You are remembering confidence. You are not learning trust. You are returning to it. What once felt distant now feels familiar because it has always belonged to you. As you keep going, resist the temptation to measure progress by appearances. The inner shift is the progress. The feeling of relief is the evidence. The calm expectation is the confirmation. Outer results are simply the echo. Stay with this new inner posture. Let it stabilize. Let it deepen. Each moment you choose certainty over fear, you anchor this turning point more firmly into your experience. And soon, without effort, life will reflect what you have already accepted as true. Fear is never truly defeated by force, reasoning, or external solutions. It is only ever dissolved when something deeper replaces it, when certainty within takes root and becomes the foundation of your consciousness. Fear is simply a reflection of doubt, a thought that says, I cannot, I am not ready, or I will fail. These thoughts are powerful only because we have given them attention and authority. Look forward. And the moment you stop giving them that authority, they begin to lose their hold. Inner certainty does not argue with fear, nor does it confront it. It quietly assumes a different reality, one in which fear has no power, because the future is already secure in the mind and heart. Certainty is not something that comes from outside. It does not arrive when circumstances align or when others reassure you. It is cultivated from within. In the private moments when you deliberately choose to trust your own inner knowing, when you insist on feeling the state of the desired outcome as already real, fear begins to evaporate. You no longer look at uncertainty and allow it to dictate your action. Instead, you act from the assurance that everything necessary is already unfolding in your favor. The process is subtle. Fear does not vanish instantly, but its voice grows weaker as you cultivate unshakable confidence in your own creative power. Every time you remind yourself of your inner authority, every time you act as if the outcome you desire is inevitable, you are replacing fear with certainty. You are not pretending and you are not lying to yourself. You are simply choosing the perspective that aligns with your deeper knowing rather than with surface anxieties. Fear clings to hesitation and indecision. Certainty dissolves it because it removes hesitation altogether. When you feel certain, your mind and body are aligned, your thoughts are directed, your energy is steady, and your focus is unwavering. Fear thrives in scattered energy, in doubt, in waiting for permission. Certainty, however, is a magnetic state. It draws circumstances toward it without effort, because the inner world always precedes the outer. As certainty strengthens, fear loses its relevance. You begin to notice that situations that once seemed threatening now feel neutral or even supportive. Challenges no longer intimidate. They become opportunities to demonstrate the reality you have assumed within. The more you dwell in certainty, the more your outer world reflects it. Fear does not disappear because life becomes easy. It disappears because your inner state commands reality. Fear is a temporary visitor, a shadow that vanishes when the light of certainty shines fully. By embracing your inner certainty, by continually returning to the feeling of assurance and trust, you dissolve fear completely. It cannot coexist with the unshakable knowing that you are capable, that life is aligned with you, and that every step forward is supported. Certainty is not just an antidote. It is the transformation itself. Your present feeling is far more powerful than you realize. Every emotion you entertain, every vibration you hold within is actively shaping the reality that is coming next. The experiences, circumstances, and people that enter your life are not random. They are responding directly to the inner state you are consistently embodying. When you feel fear, doubt, or lack, you are signaling to the world to reflect those very conditions back to you. Conversely, when you feel confidence, gratitude, and fulfillment, you set in motion the energies that will bring alignment and opportunity into your life. Your current feeling is not merely a fleeting moment. It is the blueprint for the chapter of life that is unfolding. Many people live as though the future is determined by external events, waiting for the right moment or for circumstances to align before feeling a sense of security or joy. Yet the truth is the opposite. Your inner feeling creates the conditions for what appears outside. The outer world is simply a mirror of your internal state. When you feel abundance, your mind, body, and energy are tuned to attract abundance. When you feel limitation, the same occurs. This is why it is crucial to be mindful of the feelings you entertain in the present moment, because they are the architects of your next experiences. This principle is not about ignoring reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about consciously choosing the emotional state you inhabit, regardless of external conditions. If you are currently facing challenges or obstacles, it does not mean you must dwell in frustration or despair. You can acknowledge reality while simultaneously cultivating feelings of trust, hope, and assurance. By doing so, you signal to the unseen realm and even to your conscious mind that you are ready to move into a more harmonious chapter of life. Every moment you allow yourself to feel what you desire as already real, you plant a seed that grows into the next chapter. These feelings create momentum. They are like invisible currents that guide your actions, decisions, and perceptions. People often underestimate how much their current emotional state dictates the unfolding of their life. A single, consistent feeling of certainty, gratitude, or joy can ripple outward, transforming circumstances that once seemed fixed or challenging. Your present feeling is, in essence, the director of the story that is yet to be written. By consciously choosing and sustaining emotions that align with the life you wish to live, you are shaping a future that reflects that inner state. The external world will follow. It always does. The chapter ahead is being written in your mind and heart right now. And the feelings you carry today are the ink that will define it. Choose them wisely, cultivate them intentionally, and understand that the life you desire is already forming in response to the emotional landscape you inhabit in the present. The turning point in your life does not arrive as a dramatic external event or a sudden change in circumstances. It begins within, quietly and often imperceptibly, in the realm of thought, feeling, and belief. Many people wait for a sign, a breakthrough, or an external shift to tell them that their life has changed, but true transformation always starts internally. The moment you decide to change the way you perceive yourself and the world, the momentum toward your turning point begins. It is not outside conditions that dictate your life. It is your inner state that creates the framework for everything you experience. This inner shift is subtle but profound. It starts with the recognition that your outer world is a reflection of your inner beliefs. When you alter the way you think, feel, and imagine, you are laying the foundation for new experiences to manifest. The turning point is not about pushing harder, struggling more, or waiting for opportunities to appear. It is about cultivating a state of consciousness that is aligned with the reality you desire. When your inner world changes, the outer world naturally follows, often in ways that feel effortless and synchronized. Many people resist the idea that transformation begins within because it challenges the notion that life is controlled by circumstances or other people. Yet, if you observe closely, you will notice that the greatest breakthroughs in life occur when someone changes their inner attitude first. This shift in perception changes the decisions they make, the opportunities they recognize, and the actions they take. What once seemed impossible becomes possible because the inner conditions have changed. The turning point is already underway, the moment you claim authority over your thoughts and feelings, refusing to let fear, doubt, or past patterns dictate your present. The turning point within requires conscious attention to your inner state. It is a commitment to align your thoughts and emotions with the reality you wish to experience. It is the decision to assume that what you desire is already yours, to embody that reality in your daily life, and to trust that the external world will reflect this internal certainty. It is not about waiting for circumstances to prove it. It is about knowing it internally first. As you nurture this inner alignment, you will notice subtle changes in your perception. Challenges begin to feel like opportunities. Delays begin to feel like preparation. Obstacles begin to feel like invitations to deeper understanding. This inner turning point creates a ripple effect, transforming not only your experiences, but also the way you respond to life. Every external manifestation is simply the echo of the inner reality you have chosen. The turning point, therefore, is not a moment in time. It is a conscious shift within. And once it occurs, the outside world cannot help but follow. The persistence in assumption is one of the most powerful forces in shaping your reality. It is not enough to occasionally imagine or hope for the life you desire. Transformation requires a steadfast commitment to assuming the reality you wish to experience as already true. The mind and emotions respond not to what is possible in the future, but to what is accepted as true in the present. When you consistently assume that your desires are fulfilled, you align yourself with the natural flow of creation, and outcomes begin to shift in harmony with that inner assumption. Assumption is not wishful thinking. It is a deliberate act of consciousness, a sustained choice to live in the feeling of your desired state now. Most people give up too quickly because they are looking for immediate evidence in the external world. They assume for a moment, perhaps during meditation or quiet reflection, and then allow doubt or observation of current circumstances to erase the assumption. Persistence, however, is the key. Each moment you return to the assumption, each time you reinforce it in thought, emotion, and imagination, you are deepening its root in your consciousness. The transformation that arises from persistent assumption is subtle at first. It may not immediately alter external circumstances, but it begins to reconfigure your perception and decision-making. You begin to notice opportunities you previously overlooked. You respond differently to challenges. You act with confidence rather than hesitation. These changes in behavior are direct results of the inner assumption, and they gradually create the conditions for external manifestations. What you assume persistently eventually expresses itself outwardly, because your inner state precedes your outer reality. Doubt and impatience are the primary obstacles to this process. When you allow the evidence of the present moment to dictate your belief, you interrupt the natural unfolding of your assumed reality. Persistence, on the other hand, requires faith, not blind faith in external circumstances, but unwavering faith in the power of your consciousness. It requires the discipline to return to the assumption repeatedly, even when the outer world appears unchanged. Each return strengthens the assumption and brings it closer to tangible expression. Persistent assumption transforms outcomes because it creates a new inner reality from which action, perception, and experience naturally flow. You are no longer negotiating with chance or circumstance. You are operating from a state of certainty, and certainty has creative power. The life you desire is already unfolding within you, and the longer you persist in assuming it, the more the outer world aligns with what you have accepted as true. Persistence is not struggle. It is steadfast alignment, a quiet but irresistible force that shapes the next chapter of your life. By maintaining assumption, you invite life to respond, and outcomes inevitably begin to reflect the reality you have chosen within. True transformation begins with inner acceptance. Change does not start with actions, circumstances, or external events. It starts with the quiet acknowledgement of what is within. Many people look outward, waiting for conditions to shift before they feel ready or capable. Yet the outer world can only reflect what has first been settled within. Inner acceptance is the foundation upon which all visible movement is built. Without it, efforts may be scattered, resistance may linger, and progress may feel slow or forced. Acceptance is not resignation. It is a deliberate alignment with the present moment and the reality you wish to create. When you practice inner acceptance, you are no longer struggling against what is. You recognize the current state of your life without judgment, without resistance, and without the need to control outcomes prematurely. This does not mean you stop desiring growth or improvement. It means that you no longer allow impatience, fear, or doubt to dominate your energy. Acceptance creates a fertile inner environment, a calm and receptive state in which your intentions can take root. It is in this state that true movement begins to form, often silently, before manifesting outwardly. Many overlook this principle because they equate movement with visible action. They believe that effort alone produces results, but without inner alignment, action often becomes reactionary, misdirected, or unproductive. Inner acceptance clears the mind and heart, allowing intention and insight to guide your steps, rather than impulsive fear or anxiety. It transforms waiting into readiness, stillness into preparation, and patience into powerful anticipation. When your inner state is aligned, every subsequent action flows naturally and efficiently, carrying the weight of certainty rather than the burden of doubt. Acceptance also shifts your relationship with challenges. Instead of resisting obstacles, you see them as part of the process, signals that guide you toward deeper understanding and adjustment. This perspective prevents frustration and hesitation, enabling smooth and deliberate movement. By accepting what is internally, you release the tension that blocks creativity and problem solving. The unseen begins to rearrange itself in alignment with your inner state, and the external world responds in kind. Visible movement is simply the echo of internal harmony. It is the external evidence of an internal reality that has already shifted. Every decisive action, every breakthrough, and every step forward is preceded by acceptance within. By cultivating this state, you are not waiting for the world to change. You are creating the conditions in yourself for transformation to occur naturally. Inner acceptance is not passive. It is the silent engine that propels life forward, shaping the outer world effortlessly. When you embrace this principle, you find that progress flows easily, obstacles dissolve, and the life you imagine emerges organically. The moment you accept, movement follows, and the universe responds to the inner readiness you have established. Continuing forward is the vital act that solidifies the reality you are creating. Change does not happen in isolated moments of insight or inspiration. It happens when you consistently choose to move in alignment with the vision you hold, despite appearances, doubt, or temporary setbacks. Each step you take, each decision you make from a place of inner certainty acts like a reinforcement, anchoring the new reality into your consciousness and eventually into your external experience. Momentum is built not by waiting for circumstances to improve, but by persistent forward motion from the state of fulfillment you have assumed within. To continue forward is to remain faithful to your inner vision, even when external evidence seems contrary. The old patterns, old habits, and lingering doubts may attempt to pull you back, but each time you refuse to yield, you are strengthening the foundation of your new reality. Life responds to the state you maintain, not to isolated actions or temporary outcomes. By moving forward consistently, you demonstrate to yourself and the unseen forces that you are committed to your assumed reality. And this commitment activates the alignment necessary for manifestation. Continuing forward is also an act of trust. It is the recognition that the life you desire is already forming in response to your inner state, even if you cannot yet see it fully. This trust is not passive. It requires conscious attention, discipline, and deliberate choice. When you persist in your assumption, you reinforce the identity that aligns with your desired outcome. Over time, this identity becomes dominant, reshaping your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways that naturally produce the external results you seek. Resistance or hesitation can slow the process, but they cannot stop it entirely when you maintain forward momentum. Each act of persistence, no matter how small, sends a powerful signal that your inner state is unshakable. The universe responds to the consistency of your assumption more than the speed of your progress. Even when visible evidence is delayed, your commitment to continue forward ensures that the unseen forces are arranging circumstances in your favor. Continuing forward transforms uncertainty into certainty. It turns vision into reality by creating a bridge between the inner state and outer manifestation. The life you imagine is not a distant dream. It is a reality being anchored moment by moment through your consistent focus, belief, and action. By refusing to retreat into old doubts or limiting thoughts, you secure the reality you are assuming, allowing it to take form naturally and effortlessly. Forward movement is not measured by dramatic changes or immediate results. It is measured by fidelity to the inner state you have chosen. Each step, each decision, each moment of persistence embeds the new reality deeper into your experience. By continuing forward, you are not just hoping for change, you are actively anchoring it. The more you maintain this movement, the more tangible and unshakable your new reality becomes, until it fully emerges as the life you have already accepted within yourself. In conclusion, your turning point begins not in the world around you, but within you. Fear loses its grip when replaced by inner certainty, and the feelings you cultivate now are the architects of the chapter yet to unfold. Transformation arises from persistent assumption, from accepting the present fully, and from continuing forward even when evidence seems delayed. Each step taken from this aligned state strengthens the reality you desire, guiding circumstances to reflect the inner shifts already made. Remember, the outer world is always a mirror of your inner consciousness, and the power to create, change, and manifest resides within you. This is your moment to trust, to assume, and to move forward, knowing that everything necessary is already aligning in your favor. Thank you.
Now, here is a practical technique. The first thing you do, you must know exactly what you want in this world. When you know exactly what you want, make as lifelike a representation as possible of what you would see, and what you would touch, and what you would do when physically moving in such a state. For example, suppose I wanted a home, but I had no money, but I still know what I want. Without taking anything into consideration, I would make as lifelike a representation of the home that I would like, with all the things in it that I would want. And then, this night, as I would go to bed, I would imagine that I am actually in such a house, that were I to step off the bed, I would step upon the floor of that house. Were I to leave this room, I would enter the room that is adjacent to my imagined room in that house. And while I am touching the furniture and feeling it to be solidly real, and while I am moving from one room to the other in my imaginary house, I would go sound asleep in that state. If I wanted promotion in my business, I would ask myself, what additional responsibilities would be mine were I to be given this great promotion? What would I do? What would I say? What would I see? How would I act? And then in my imagination, I would begin to see and touch and do and act as I would outwardly see and touch and act were I in that position. If I now desired the mate of my life, were I now in search of some wonderful girl or some wonderful man, what would I actually find myself doing that would imply that I have found my state? For instance, suppose now I was a lady. One thing I would definitely do. I would wear a wedding ring. I would take my imaginary hands, and I would feel the ring that I would imagine to be there. And I would keep on feeling it and feeling it until it seemed to me to be solidly real. I would give it all the sensory vividness I am capable of giving anything. And while I am feeling my imaginary ring, which implies I am married, I would sleep. This story is told us in the Song of Songs, or the Song of Solomon. It is said, "At night on my bed, I sought him whom my soul loveth. I found him whom my soul loveth, and I would not let him go until I brought him into my mother's house, right into the chamber of her that conceived me." If I would take that beautiful poem and put it into modern English, into practical language, it would be this. While sitting in my chair, I would feel myself right into the situation of my fulfilled desire. And having felt myself into that state, I would not let it go. I would keep that mood alive, and in that mood I would sleep. That is, taking it right into my mother's chamber, into the chamber of her that conceived me. You know, people are totally unaware of this fantastic power of the imagination. But when man begins to discover this power within him, he never plays the part that he formerly played. He doesn't turn back and become just the reflect of life. From here on in, he is the effector of life. The secret of it is to center your imagination in the feeling of the wish fulfilled and remain therein. For in our capacity to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled lies our capacity to live the more abundant life. Most of us are afraid to imagine ourselves as important and noble individuals, secure in our contribution to the world, just because at the very moment that we start our assumption, reason, and our senses deny the truth of our assumption. We seem to be in the grip of an unconscious urge which makes us cling desperately to the world of familiar things and resist all that threatens to tear us away from our familiar and seemingly safe moorings. But I appeal to you to try it. If you try it, you will discover this great wisdom of the ancients, for they told it to us in their own strange, wonderful, symbolical form. But unfortunately, you and I misinterpreted their stories and took it for history when they intended it as instruction to simply achieve our every objective. You see, imagination puts us inwardly, in touch with the world of states. These states are existent, they are present now, but they are mere possibilities while we think of them. But they become overpoweringly real when we think from them and dwell in them. You know, there's a wide difference between thinking of what you want in this world and thinking from what you want. Let me tell you when I first heard of this strange and wonderful power of the imagination. It was in 1933 in New York City. An old friend of mine taught it to me. He turned to the 14th of John, and this is what he read. "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. At where I am, there ye may be also." He explained to me that the central character of the Gospels was human imagination. That mansion was not a place in some heavenly house, but simply my desire. If I would make a living representation of the state desired, and then enter that state and abide in that state, I would realize it. At the time, I wanted to make a trip to the island of Barbados in the West Indies, but I had no money. He explained to me that if I would that night, as I slept in New York City, assume that I was sleeping in my earthly father's house in Barbados, and go sound asleep in that state, that I would realize my trip. Well, I took him at his word and tried it. For 1 month, night after night, as I fell asleep, I assumed I was sleeping in my father's home in Barbados. At the end of my month, an invitation from my family came, inviting me to spend the winter in Barbados. I sailed for Barbados the early part of December of that year. From then on, I knew I had found this savior in myself. The old man told me that it would never fail. Even after it happened, I could hardly believe that it would not have happened anyway. That's how strange this whole thing is. On reflection, it happens so naturally. You begin to feel or to tell yourself what it would have happened anyway, and you quickly recover from this wonderful experience of yours. It never failed me if I would give the mood, the imagined mood, sensory vividness. I could tell you a number of case histories to show you how it works, but in essence it's simple. You simply know what you want. When you know what you want, you're thinking of it. That is not enough. You must now begin to think from it. Well, how could I think from it? I am sitting here, and I desire to be elsewhere. How could I, while sitting here physically, put myself in imagination at a point in space removed from this room and make that real to me? Quite easily. My imagination puts me in touch inwardly with that state. I imagine that I am actually where I desire to be. Now, can I tell that I am there? There is only one way to prove that I am there. For what a man sees when he describes his world is as he describes it relative to himself. So what the world looks like depends entirely upon where I stand when I make my observation. So if, as I describe my world, it is related to that point in space I imagine that I am occupying, then I must be there. I am not there physically, no, but I am there in my imagination, and my imagination is my real self. And where I go in imagination and make it real, there I shall go in the flesh also. When in that state I fall asleep, it is done. I have never seen it fail. So this is the simple technique on how to use your imagination to realize your every objective.
Today marks the moment when everything begins to change for you. Your turning point has arrived, not as a distant dream, not as a future possibility, but as a living reality calling to you from within. The first secret to this change is simple. The world you desire exists already. It exists in the theater of your mind, waiting for you to recognize it as real. The life you have been longing for is not something you must chase outside of yourself. It is already planted within your consciousness. The next step is release. Let go of the old stories that no longer serve you, the doubts, the fears, the limitations. Each of these attachments has held you in a state of becoming rather than receiving. By releasing them, you make space for the new to enter. True change never fights against a current of life. It flows effortlessly when you stop resisting. Now step into feeling. Do not merely imagine what you desire. Live it. Feel the joy, the freedom, the abundance, as if it is already yours. Let the emotions of fulfillment saturate your mind and body. This is the language of manifestation. When you inhabit the state of having, the world responds, shaping itself to mirror your inner reality. The unseen is real. Even if you cannot yet touch, see, or measure your desires, they are already working themselves into existence. Faith is not blind. It is the recognition of what is already present in the invisible realm. Trust the process, for life is aligning itself perfectly to meet your consciousness. Surrender yourself to this moment. Stop striving, stop forcing, and start receiving. The turning point you have been waiting for does not arrive through struggle. It arrives when you welcome it with an open heart and a quiet mind. Cultivate gratitude for what is coming. Thank the universe in advance, not for what has been, but for what is already yours. Gratitude opens the doors that desire alone cannot unlock. It is the bridge between imagination and manifestation, the silent force that magnetizes blessings toward you. We need you. Thank the universe and connect you to, and today your turning point is here. Get ready to receive it fully, joyfully, and without hesitation. Trust yourself, trust the unseen, and step boldly into the life that has been waiting for you all along. Everything that will ever manifest in your life begins not in the world outside, but in the rich and fertile soil of your own mind. Every experience you will have, every success you will enjoy, and every relationship you will attract has its origin in your inner vision. Your imagination is not merely a playground for idle thoughts. It is the most powerful creative force available to you. It is through the imagination that the unseen becomes visible, that dreams take form, and that the life you desire begins to take shape. When you learn to see in your mind's eye what you wish to experience, you set into motion a chain of events that draws that vision into your reality. To cultivate this power, you must first learn to believe in the reality of what you imagine. Do not think of your vision as something distant or unattainable. See it vividly, as though it already exists. Picture yourself living the life you desire, not as a vague possibility, but as a present truth. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that come with that reality: joy, freedom, abundance, love, or peace. These feelings are not imaginary. They are signals that your consciousness is aligning with the life you are about to manifest. The more real and detailed you make your mental experiences, the more tangible and inevitable they become in your outer world. Acceptance is the next vital step. To truly harness the power of your inner vision, you must accept that what you imagine is already yours. There is no waiting, no struggle, no if or when. By accepting your desired reality as a present fact, you silence the doubts and fears that could block its manifestation. Acceptance transforms imagination from a passive exercise into an active creative force. It is this state of inner certainty that the universe responds to, bending circumstances, people, and opportunities toward the fulfillment of your vision. Your imagination, then, is not just a tool, it is the doorway to your next chapter. It allows you to step beyond the limitations of your current reality and into a realm where anything is possible. By seeing, feeling, and accepting your desired life now, you plant the seeds of that reality in the fertile ground of your consciousness. Trust this inner process, nurture it with belief and emotion, and watch as the world around you begins to reflect what you hold vividly in your mind. Every transformation begins here, within the sacred space of imagination, where the unseen becomes seen and your true life awaits. True transformation cannot occur while you remain tethered to the past or clinging to circumstances that no longer serve your highest good. Every moment you hold on to what is familiar, safe, or habitual, even when it no longer nourishes your soul, you create a barrier between yourself and the new reality waiting to emerge. Change is not something that arrives by force. It is invited into your life through the conscious act of release. Letting go is not a denial of your experiences or a rejection of what has shaped you. It is a deliberate choice to stop allowing old patterns, limiting beliefs, and outdated attachments to define who you are or who you are becoming. Clinging to what is familiar creates a subtle but powerful resistance. You may hold on to past successes, failures, relationships, or routines out of fear or comfort, believing that they define your security or identity. Yet, in truth, these attachments act as weights that keep you anchored to a reality that no longer reflects the desires of your heart. Every time you allow yourself to remain bound to what has passed, you delay the arrival of the blessings that your consciousness is calling forth. The new can only emerge when space is made for it. Release is that space. It is the clearing through which the light of your next chapter can shine. Releasing the old requires courage, awareness, and trust. It asks that you recognize the difference between what supports your growth and what limits it. It calls for a willingness to embrace uncertainty, understanding that the unknown is not a threat, but a doorway to possibility. Each attachment you let go of, each thought, belief, or habit you release, becomes an act of empowerment. By surrendering what no longer serves, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive, that you are prepared to step into a life that aligns with your true essence. Letting go is not about abandoning responsibility or ignoring the lessons of the past. It is about acknowledging them, learning from them, and then stepping beyond them with clarity and intention. It is a conscious recognition that your future is not dictated by yesterday, and your potential is not confined by what has been. Transformation occurs naturally when you stop resisting the flow of life and allow the old to fall away. As you release, you create a fertile ground for new opportunities, relationships, ideas, and experiences to take root. The act of letting go is both sacred and powerful, a bridge between the reality you are leaving behind and the reality that is waiting to welcome you. Thank you. In embracing this release, you step into freedom. You step into alignment with the life you have imagined, and you prepare yourself to fully receive the abundance, joy, and fulfillment that your consciousness has already summoned. The turning point begins here, in the act of letting go. To truly manifest the life you desire, it is not enough to hope, wish, or think about what you want. You must live from the state of fulfillment as if your desire has already been realized. This is the essence of feeling as if. When you allow yourself to embody the emotions, sensations, and inner certainty of having already received what you seek, you create a vibrational alignment between your inner world and the reality you wish to experience. The universe does not respond to what you lack or fear. It responds to the state of consciousness you maintain. By dwelling in the feeling of fulfillment, you are effectively planting the seeds of your desire in the fertile soil of existence, where they will inevitably grow and manifest. Living as if requires more than superficial visualization. It requires full immersion in the reality you wish to experience. Picture yourself not as someone hoping for change, but as someone who already possesses what they long for. Allow yourself to feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace, or the freedom that comes with having your desire fully met. Engage your senses as if it is happening now. Hear the sounds, notice the sights, feel the textures, and sense the atmosphere of your realized vision. These feelings are not imaginary distractions. They are signals to your consciousness and the universe that you have accepted this reality as your own. When you consistently inhabit this state, a profound shift occurs. Your thoughts, actions, and energy naturally begin to mirror the life you imagine. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable lose their weight. Opportunities appear more readily, and people and circumstances align to support your fulfillment. Feeling as if is a practice of inner conviction. It is the recognition that what you desire is already present in the unseen realm, and by embracing it in your inner life, you accelerate its expression in the outer world. This practice also demands patience and trust. You may not see immediate results, and yet the inner state you cultivate is already shaping reality beneath the surface. Doubt and impatience are signs that you have temporarily stepped out of this state. Returning to the feeling of fulfillment restores alignment and strengthens your creative influence. By living as if, you are no longer a passive dreamer, but an active creator, orchestrating life through the conscious experience of your imagination. The power of feeling as if lies in its simplicity and immediacy. You do not wait for evidence in the physical world before feeling joy, abundance, or love. You feel these things first, allowing reality to catch up. In this way, you become both the architect and the resident of your desired life, harmonizing your inner world with the infinite flow of the universe. By embracing this state fully, you open the door to effortless manifestation and step into the life that has already been waiting for you. What you cannot yet see holds more power over your life than the things you can. The invisible is real, and it is the silent architect of every event, every encounter, and every outcome that is yet to unfold. The world of the senses is only a reflection of the deeper reality that exists beyond sight, touch, and measure. Every thought, every feeling, and every belief you hold is constantly interacting with this unseen realm, shaping circumstances and drawing experiences toward you with perfect precision. To succeed in manifesting your desires, it is essential to recognize that the forces at work are not always visible, and that what is unseen carries the seeds of your future into the present moment. Trust is the bridge between what is invisible and what becomes visible. You may not yet see the person, the opportunity, or the result you seek, but that does not mean it is not already taking form in the hidden layers of existence. There are movements, alignments, and arrangements occurring beyond your awareness, orchestrated by your consciousness and the universal intelligence that responds to it. Doubt arises when we mistake the lack of physical evidence for absence. Faith in the unseen allows you to remain centered, patient, and confident, knowing that the work of creation is already underway. Even if the manifestation has not yet reached your senses, to cultivate this faith, turn your attention inward. Observe your thoughts and feelings and direct them deliberately toward the reality you wish to experience. The unseen responds not to force or worry, but to clarity, conviction, and expectation. By aligning your inner life with your desire through belief, visualization, and feeling, you communicate to the invisible forces that your intention is real, that it is settled in your consciousness, and that it is ready to unfold. The invisible is always moving, always shaping, always arranging circumstances in accordance with what has been accepted within. The invisible is all. Understand that patience is not passivity. Waiting in faith is an active participation in the creative process. Even when the evidence is hidden, the unseen realm is fully engaged in bringing your vision into form. Every event, coincidence, and inspiration is part of a larger design, a silent choreography that reflects your inner state. By trusting these invisible processes, you step out of fear, frustration, and resistance and step into alignment with the natural flow of creation. Embrace the unseen with certainty and expectation, knowing that reality is constantly responding to your inner world. The invisible is real, and it is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. By acknowledging and honoring it, you position yourself as a co-creator, a conscious participant in the unfolding of your desires. The world you cannot yet see is already shaping itself to match your imagination, and when you align with it fully, manifestation becomes not only possible, but inevitable. True transformation and the arrival of your turning point do not come through force, struggle, or relentless striving. They come through the quiet, deliberate act of surrendering to the present moment. Self-surrender is not weakness or passivity. It is a conscious choice to stop resisting the flow of life and to allow the universe to operate in perfect harmony with the state of your consciousness. Every struggle, every attempt to control circumstances or outcomes creates tension and friction that delays the unfolding of your desires. By releasing this need to force or manipulate, you open the way for life to bring forth exactly what your imagination and inner acceptance have already called into being. When you surrender, you are not giving up on your desires, you are giving up on the need to control how and when they will manifest. You acknowledge that the power to create does not lie in outward effort alone, but in the alignment of your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. Your consciousness is the fertile ground from which all manifestation springs. The turning point is not about pushing against life. It is about stepping into a state of readiness, openness, and trust, where what you have accepted inwardly, naturally, finds expression outwardly. Surrendering to the moment requires letting go of resistance, doubt, and impatience. It means recognizing that the universe is already at work on your behalf, even if the results are not immediately visible. Every circumstance, every person, and every event is aligning with the inner reality you have embraced. By ceasing to struggle, you conserve your energy and direct it toward maintaining the state of fulfillment, rather than dissipating it on worry or effort that cannot accelerate what is already unfolding. This practice is deeply liberating. When you stop forcing, life begins to flow with ease. Opportunities arrive, ideas emerge, and people enter your life at exactly the right moment. You are no longer battling time, circumstances, or other people. You are moving in harmony with the invisible currents that carry your desires to fruition. Surrender transforms waiting into active creation, for in every moment of quiet acceptance, you are signaling to the universe that you are ready to receive. Self-surrender is a profound recognition that you are both the creator and the receiver of your reality. By letting go of struggle and embracing the present, you allow life to orchestrate circumstances in perfect alignment with your inner vision. This is the essence of your turning point. The moment when resistance dissolves, the mind becomes still, and the fullness of your desires begins to flow effortlessly into your experience. In surrender, you find freedom, power, and the certainty that what you have accepted inwardly will now manifest outwardly, exactly as it should. Gratitude is not merely a polite acknowledgement of what already exists. It is a powerful force that draws your desires into tangible reality. When you cultivate gratitude in advance for the blessings you are yet to receive, you are sending a signal to the universe that your consciousness is aligned with the reality you wish to experience. This practice does more than create a positive mindset. It magnetizes the circumstances, people, and opportunities necessary for your desires to manifest. Gratitude, when felt deeply and sincerely, transforms expectation into a living, dynamic force that accelerates manifestation and opens the flow of abundance. To harness this power, you must first understand that the universe responds not to what you lack, but to the state of consciousness you maintain. When your mind is focused on scarcity, limitation, or frustration, you attract more of the same. Conversely, when your heart is filled with appreciation for what is coming, you are effectively signaling that you are ready to receive. Feeling grateful in advance is the secret to bridging the gap between imagination and reality. It is the practice of treating your desires as if they are already fulfilled, acknowledging them with the warmth, joy, and reverence that they deserve. This act of preemptive gratitude requires mindfulness and intention. Begin by imagining the blessings you are seeking and allow yourself to feel the emotions that accompany their arrival. Picture yourself receiving the opportunities, relationships, or achievements you desire, and immerse yourself in the joy, relief, and satisfaction of that experience. Then offer gratitude for these unseen blessings as though they have already entered your life. This shifts your energy from a state of want to a state of abundance, creating a fertile ground in which your desires can take root and grow. Gratitude is transformative because it changes your perception of reality. When you appreciate what is coming, you move beyond anxiety, doubt, and impatience. You align yourself with the natural flow of life, allowing the universe to orchestrate circumstances on your behalf. Every act of gratitude, no matter how small, strengthens this alignment and accelerates the manifestation process. It is a signal to the unseen forces that your inner world is ready, open, and receptive. Gratitude is both a magnet and a mirror. It draws into your experience the very blessings you are acknowledging, and it reflects back to you the reality of your inner state. By feeling grateful for what is yet to come, you step into a consciousness of abundance, joy, and certainty. You create a space in which receiving becomes effortless, and you invite life to respond in kind. The practice of gratitude is not passive. It is an active, creative force, transforming expectation into manifestation and making the arrival of your desires inevitable. As we reach the close of this journey together, remember that your turning point is not a distant dream. It is here, now, waiting for you to step fully into it. Everything we have explored, the power of inner vision, the courage to let go of the old, the practice of feeling as if, trust in the invisible, the surrender to the moment, and the magnetism of gratitude serves one purpose: to align your consciousness with the life you are meant to live. Each principle is a key, unlocking the door to the reality that has already been waiting for you in the unseen. Your life will change not through struggle, nor by forcing circumstances to bend to your will, but through the conscious recognition of your own creative power. By seeing, feeling, and accepting your desires as real, by releasing what no longer serves you, by inhabiting the state of fulfillment, by trusting the unseen, by surrendering to the flow of life, and by embracing gratitude for what is yet to come, you set the stage for your transformation. The universe responds to the state of your consciousness, and when you are ready to receive, all that you have imagined, all that you have hoped for, flows naturally into your experience. Take this moment to commit to these practices in your daily life. Live as if your desires are already fulfilled, trust the invisible workings of the universe, surrender to the present, and feel gratitude for all that is coming. Your turning point has arrived, and it is yours to claim. The life you envision is not a distant possibility. It is the reality your consciousness is shaping, and it awaits your full embrace. Thank you for dedicating your attention, your belief, and your heart to this message. May you step boldly into your turning point, fully prepared to receive the abundance, joy, and fulfillment that are already yours. Thank you.